Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. I'm pretty sure that everybody knows who Summer Wells is. The little girl who apparently vanished from her home back in June of 2021. And since Summer went missing, there has been an abundance of content on the internet. People speculating what could have happened, what should have happened, what didn't happen, what did happen. And look, the two people who have remained continuously in people's sights have been Summer's parents, Don and Candace Bly. And for the best part, not in a good light. Me, myself, have questioned both of these people, and it's very, very hard not to put blame at their feet. We've heard about what their life was like in the lead up to Summer going missing, and we've seen it further descend into chaos, especially surrounding Candace Bly online. But what we haven't heard up to now is from other children within that family. Now, Don Wells was married previously, and he has older children. And one of them has now come forward and they have spoken. In the description of this video, there is a link to a video, and it will take you to that interview. After you've watched this video, please head over there, check that out, say hi, and let me know what you think about this interview, and let me know, most importantly, whether it goes anywhere towards changing your perception of Don Wells. Now, like I say, when these cases erupt, people become very emotionally invested. And then when the dust settles and things calm down a little bit, you get to reminisce on that journey throughout that case. And you get to reflect on whether some of the things you said were right, whether they were wrong, whether you was out of order. And I still find myself caught on the fence with Don. One of the main reasons is that I have recently spoken to Don himself. I have offered financial support to assist him in what would be a continued search for Summer, as he has always pushed a narrative that she is potentially out there somewhere. He said to me that Summer had been taken from his property. He said he knows that. I did question as to how he knows that, considering he wasn't there, and he failed to be able to answer that question. And he hasn't come back to me, despite my offer of financial support, to discuss it further. And that, to me, doesn't go hand in hand with someone who is hell-bent on trying to find their child. But then I think to myself, Brandy Neal was exactly the same in the Michael Vaughan case. She didn't want people to help search, not the people who offered close to the case. And in fact, she went on to attack them when they offered. And she'd said that she just didn't want to waste people's time. And if you want to support that case, you want to support Brandy and those around that case, then I suppose it would only be fair to support Don in the same situation. He is someone who is in the same boat with a missing child, and he is seemingly not jumping at the chance of help and assistance. But look, what happened in this interview, this was someone who is a child to Don. They grew up with Don, and they spoke highly of him as a father. They had asked some difficult questions surrounding whether he had been abusive. And they said no. They went on to say that when he was there and he was present and correct, he was a great dad. They speak of times when he would go out with them and share fun times, almost sounding cool. Is actually, when I listened to this interview, it reminded me of someone who I grew up with and their father and the times that we had together. And I can almost picture it in my mind of what Don could have been like. He had his issues. He battled with drugs and alcohol. But look, people have lives. And before the Summer Wells case erupted on social media, there were things going on. Let's not forget that Don was a hard worker. He was a hard worker. He always had a job and he was a grafter. And while he was out grafting, what was Candace doing? Let's not forget that Candace and her mum lived up at 110 Ben Hill Road. And seemingly Don was supporting that situation. We saw the introduction of Jose Roman. While Don was away working, this gentleman was brought into the property and was staying in Don's home, interacting with his children. How would you, if you was a father, react in that same situation? How would you, as a female, feel if you'd gone away to work and while you was away, your husband moved a female into the property and she was sleeping in the same room as your children? People pointed out about how the Wells were living. And me as well, I'm guilty of this. We looked at it and felt that it was just a disgusting place to live. How can you have children living in this kind of condition? But then I later found out that this is something that happens to many houses and homes and families in this area. Yes, there are the opposite end of the spectrum, but for many, many families, that is indeed how they live. And there are a lot worse. And look, I'm not saying that now I've seen this, I feel that Don had nothing to do with it or Candace had nothing to do with it. But there is a certain segment within that interview that talks about how Don is now. The effect that losing Summer has had on him. And they feel now that they don't know how to speak to him because he is just not the same man. So is it that we're looking at a guy who did something to his child and is now feeling guilty? Or is it someone who was put in a position where he had to make a choice and he's now got to live with that choice? Or did someone indeed go up to that property and take his child? Like I say, go look at it, go and have a listen, and come back and let me know what you feel after listening. I'll be interested to hear, and I'll have a chat with you in the comments. Summer could still be out there somewhere. We still don't know what happened. And in a short time, she'll have been missing for 2 years. We don't forget. We never forget. I'll catch you all in the next one.